Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button and subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Without further ado, let's get started. Chapter 1. The Legend of the Tailed Brothers. Year 737. Planet Vegeta. Paragus was being held by King Vegeta's men while he begged for his son, Broly, not to be killed. But that didn't seem to have moved him one bit. And after a long time begging for his life and his son, King Vegeta was already gone. Tired of this conversation, before he could shoot a wave of energy at Paragus' chest to pulverize him once and for all, one of the gods appeared and made a proposal to the king. What if the little Saiyan was sent to a planet far from Frieza's vision and also of the planet, so that it would not cause any problems for his reign and yours? Pondering for some time, King Vegeta considered this a possibility he liked, and so he ordered that the little Saiyan be sent to a distant planet, this being one that was considered forgettable, and thus one of the real scientists who passed by the room told a low-power Saiyan who curiously, although with the fight power of 2, the little Saiyan known as Kakarot managed to make little Broly cry, demonstrating to have a great potential, but of course, continued to be doubted due to the incredibly low fighting power, even for a child Saiyan. And if even then, the little Saiyan died at the hands of the legendary Saiyan, who would even care? And after arguing for a while, King Vegeta ordered the 2 Saiyans to be sent to the planet known as Earth, while he went to Frieza's ship with the troop after knowing what Saiyan Bardock had told everyone. With that, Broly and Kakarot were sent to Earth, but while they were traveling to the planet, Frieza decided to pay Planet Vegeta a visit. Planet Earth. Weeks later, after weeks traveling through the vast northern galaxy, the capsules containing the 2 small Saiyans finally landed on the blue planet. But due to the speed they entered the atmosphere, they end up falling with great force in a place known as Paozu Mountain, thus making a gigantic rumble next to a huge crater. Not far away, an old man known as Son Gohan heard this noise while tending his garden. So, he headed towards the forest, where he thought the noise had come from. After searching among the various bamboo grooves, he found 2 small ships next to each other, and curious, he went to check what they are. But when he got close, the doors began to open, and from there were revealed 2 small babies that looked strangely quiet. After judging that there was no problem, he decided to take them to his home before determining their fate. Not long after, Mr. Gohan realized that what he thought was the youngest started to get more aggressive, while the oldest, who although frustrated a lot, especially if the youngest cried, seemed to be much calmer, which more made Gohan believe that he would be the father of the 2, even though they are at the same age. After a while, it seemed that the 2 young people seemed to be liking the old man, but during a walk, the 2 little ones were being carried in a basket that he was carrying because they were going through a very narrow path. But while everything seemed calm, Kakarot started to tease the Broly. But before they started causing any bigger problems, Broly ended up losing his balance and by reflex took little Kakarot along. And so the 2 young people fell off the cliff and hit their heads, thus becoming unconscious. Desperate because he thought that his boys had died, he goes to them and notices that they are still breathing, and so he took them home so that he could take care of their injuries, and after days of taking care of them, they finally woke up, but without any memory of what happened to them. And not knowing their names even though he had known them for a considerable time, he decided to name them in honor of his grandparents, and thus Kakarot received the name Son Goku, while Broly was called Son Jingu. And growing up as brothers, Son Gohan knew that although they were 2 innocent children, they carried power, a power that he could only feel, but without knowing how. But on a certain day, the surprise of seeing how powerful they could be was not so nice. On a full moon night, Goku ended up seeing the full moon outside the house, and that made him turn into a gigantic monkey that attacked whatever was in front of him. Afraid of losing Goku, Gohan tried to control the beast, which unconsciously tried to crush the old man, which would happen if Jingu didn't intervene and hold the great foot of his beast, which made him see his own strength, looking for a way to contain the beast so that Goku would return to normal before hurting himself or hurting them. Gohan noticed that perhaps their tail would make them turn into these beasts, and gathering some energy he had, he shot a small sphere of energy that was enough to cut off Goku's tail, causing him to immediately return to his normal state and, due to the exhaustion, pass out naked on the ground. Jingu and his grandfather took Goku inside, hoping everything would be alright. And when they left him on his bed right after changing him, Jingu started to think that it's better to avoid looking at the moon for fear of causing a problem even bigger. And knowing that this incident would hardly be the last, he decided that he would have to be example by being a younger brother. So while his brother is usually innocent and playful, Jingu has a more caring and serious personality. Years passed, and while Gohan was busy tidying up his house, Goku and Jingu went to catch a fish for lunch, and as they returned, something ended up hitting Goku in the back. And thinking it was a monster wanting his fish, he launched at the sir, while Jingu just watched, and after a few seconds, something comes out of the monster, and that thing was actually a blue-haired girl, very angry because her car was broken. And after things were clarified, Goku and Jingu meet Bulma. After getting to know each other, Bulma tells why she had come to this place. It was to look for a mystical artifact known as the Dragon Ball, and she came to ask if they hadn't found one, and not knowing what they are, they decided to just invite her into the house, and taking the opportunity so that she could meet their grandfather, which Bulma was a little embarrassed at first because she misunderstood the message, because Bulma thought it was like meeting the parents of the beloved, but due to Goku's innocent nature of saying, of course, because that's where the food is, she ends up just accepting it. Even more so with Jingu simply appearing relaxed about a girl walking into his house out of the blue. And when they did, Jingu called his grandfather, saying that a girl had entered, and excited, Gohan decided to get some rolls for the guest, while the two caught the fish from the road. After clearing up everything about the spheres, Gohan decided to give her his sphere after hearing her motive, which was obviously to get a perfect boyfriend, and knowing that it can be dangerous to go looking for them, especially if the legends is true. He suggested that his grandchildren might follow. Hearing this, Goku was excited to have the opportunity to explore the world and maybe face strong guys, and maybe even be the strongest in the world. Meanwhile, Jingu didn't seem as excited as his little brother, because if they were, who would stay to help their grandfather with the housework? And before he could finish everything, Gohan said that it's fine, and that it would be good for them to go, since they were supposed to go with her, explore the world, and even if these fears are just a legend, they would at least have traveled to other places outside the mountain. And thus, Jingu reluctantly agrees, but on one condition: as soon as the journey ended, they would go home. To be continued. So hey, what do you believe in and what do you imagine about all of this? Regardless of what it is more than important that you arrive exposing it in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.